Namaskar. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Today we are going to study the secret of success, military success of the Europeans. The Europeans, especially in the 18th century, won a number of battles across Africa, in the US, and in India. And command. But today we will concentrate on one single aspect which was the most important and which was a mental aspect that got converted into physical success. The army basically consists or used to consist of infantry, cavalry, and a cannon force. In India, the infantry was given the biggest importance rather than the infantry and cavalry. So, swordsmanship and think of their war heroes. Very few names come to the fore, and therein lies the secret. Because in India or in Africa, the winning of the battle was more of the role of individual leadership, whereas winning a battle in case of Europeans was more of a teamwork, and that is why individual heroes were not glorified. Doesn't matter what their contribution. And one single example will make this crystal clear. The swordsman was the worshipped hero of a battle. He used to be considered the bravest of them all. He is right in front, engages in face to face combat and later hand to hand combat, kills a number of enemy soldiers based on his sheer strength or skill or talent. Whereas the Barkandaz and Tirandaz are in the third or fourth category. Are located quite a distance from the war scene. They are safe and secluded, and from there they take aim and kill the enemy soldiers. And these are the Barkandaz and the Tirandaz are the last one to be killed in a battle, and they would be hurt only if the battle is lost, because by the time the opposite infantry reaches them, the battle is almost lost. So, in our case, we concentrated on raising individual talents, individual skill, individual strength, and the technology and the science was rejected. In fact, in Africa, many of the African kings or tribal kings, they rejected the guns because they always thought that a warrior with a sword is much better than a person with a gun. In a way, they were correct, because in those times the guns used to be having only one charge, and once that charge is released, it would take couple of minutes to recharge the gun. and after 5 or 6 firings the gun would become too hot to handle, so would have to be kept aside. Whereas in case of a swordsman, he would continue to fight for hours on end, cutting whoever and whatever came in its way. So apparently the swordsman was much better than a Barkandaz. But herein lies the secret. To create such a swordsman, to get such power, to create such masculinity would be taking 10 years. So loss of a single swordsman would set that army back by 10 years. It is difficult to replace such exceptional soldiers. Whereas in case of a Barkandaz, the training is hardly 1 year. And there are always 3 people in a Barkandaz team, one who shoots and other 2 who fill up the barrel or hand over the gun. The other 2 don't require much training, they train on the way, and the main one has maximum training of 1 year. But because of this simplicity, you can have an army of Barkandaz, number of them, hundreds of them, and all 100 easily replaceable. Whereas on the other side, if only 10 swordsmen may be enough to take care of 100 Barkandaz, but those 10 swordsmen take 10 years to be created. And this is what repeatedly happened in the battles. Using science and technology and guns in the battle, the Europeans won battle after battle because their army was easily replaceable. Not only that, as the technology improved, the guns became stronger, better, and more dangerous. In fact, in the US, the engagement using the machine gun were most devastating, because one person with a machine gun would be able to kill 500 men in just 1 minute. And this is the cycle that continued further. Only a few people like Yashwantrao Holkar or Mahadaji Shinde or some exceptions were able to understand this, and they tried to have disciplined soldiers like those of European armies. But otherwise, it was always the stress was on cavalry and the infantry. And this is how it happened, and this is where the teamwork basically wipes out the individual excellence. We'll come back to this point again in our coming episodes, but this is one of the best kept secrets of European success in battles. Namaskar.